Everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Jessica Rodriguez, and I am the Industry Engagement Officer for the Data Science Institute here at Columbia University. Today's seminar is an iCubed, which stands for Institute, Industry, and Innovation. These seminars connect our industry affiliates to our students and the larger Columbia community to explore topics at the forefront of industry. We invite data scientists, engineers, and researchers from our affiliates to give a talk about a recent project or case study. During these educational events, we encourage attendees to ask questions via the chat or the Q&A feature. Today, we have a product marketing manager from Google Cloud speaking. Today's talk will be commercial applications of conversational AI, presented by Josh Porter, Product Marketing Manager for Cloud Artificial Intelligence at Google. Welcome, Josh. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Jessica. I really appreciate it. So happy to be here. I am as Jessica mentioned, a Product Marketing Manager with Google Cloud. I cover conversational AI and wanted to kind of give you a little bit about my background today and about some of the impacts that conversational AI has out in industry as well as society and just technology in general. All right, so just a little bit of background about me. So I did a undergrad in marketing information systems, went to business school, graduating around 2012, went to Bank of America, was in doing marketing for about 6 years, pivoted to software to do industry marketing towards retail banks, and came to Google to do that role as well, and pivoted into Google Cloud AI, where I've been working on basically selling our conversational AI. And so it's a really interesting and awesome opportunity. It's obviously cutting edge and a very relevant application for the environment that we're in right now. So I would like to kind of go over what we're going to review today and give you an agenda so that you kind of get a heads up of what we're going to cover, and hopefully you'll find this interesting, and would love to answer any questions after the end of this. So at first, I want to get into about how AI, natural language processing, speech, what they are, and how, of course, I'm sure you're familiar with it, what's happening today and what are some of those challenges, and then what are the opportunities in three main areas. One, technological. What is the impact that conversational AI can have there? What are societal impacts? And then finally, what are the business impacts? So as we get into AI in general, we know that it has lots of applications. It can help, drive cars. It can help predict stock prices, manage logistics, and even find a cure for cancer. But the thing is when it comes to having an actual conversation, it's not all that fluid. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but the biggest piece is understanding. How does the AI understand speaking to a human? So there's 6 principles that are really important in this. And the first one is listen. So speech to text. Are we getting, the actual verbiage from a person that's speaking? And then 2 is understanding, semantic understanding. Are you getting, the general idea of what is happening with the text? And then 3rd is the considering the actual context. So that's where the NLU comes in, the natural language understanding. How does this fit into an actual conversation? It's not just words, but what's happening within this particular conversation. And then 4th is determining the reply. So once you understand it, what's the response generation? With that understanding of the context, how are you going to respond to that question? And then 5th, you have to decide that response, right? So that's natural language generation, NLG. So that's going to be a key, key piece in this process as well. But then once you actually have all that, you got to say the words out loud. You've got to be able to respond. And so that's the last piece, is saying the words out loud. So these are kind of the key principles of our conversational AI. And as I indicated earlier in the conversation, I'm not a coder, I'm not a data scientist, but what I do love to do is explain why all these technologies can help our society, why they can really bring some opportunities to help bring some impact to the way we interface with each other. So, and really all that comes down to is we need to communicate like users do, right? We need to have the AI communicate like you and I do, like we're talking over, in person or over a Zoom call, just a natural kind of conversation. That's the key in having conversational AI make a real impact. So when you think about it, they need to be, there's three pieces of this that are important for conversational AI when interacting with humans, with users. Is they need to be simple, natural, and ubiquitous. When we think about new interfaces, voice is really the key interface as we kind of move forward in our interactions with computers. And so, what is the opportunity for us in the future to make conversational AI a more powerful and natural way for us to interface with machines? So one, we need to do more with voice. So intents, understand the intent behind these conversations. That's the key piece here to understand how are we going to evolve that voice piece. The second piece is reducing that cognitive load, so making it natural. So just make it like a human is talking to a human. And obviously that's very tricky, but that is something that we want to do in this field, is make that conversational AI more natural. And then making it available everywhere, making it in more places. This doesn't need to be just on your phone or your laptop, but where else can we expand this voice interface to provide conversations that are in spaces that we don't have to think about or go out of our way to access. So when we think about this, like what is behind those pieces of the three pieces that I just shared there? Intents. Think about that. What are the intents? Browsing products, writing and reading reviews. How busy is it at a store? Managing rewards, explore promotions, upsell. Those are the intents that are important to understand in a conversation. When we think about natural conversations, making it more natural, we have to have disambiguation, trying to make it more clear, refinement, negation, personalization, understanding the context of these conversations and making it so that it is real, it's personal to the person, the user that's interfacing with the AI. And then finally, going back to the more places piece, smart home, mobile app, website, a kiosk, phone. Those are the key places right now. But hopefully, in the future, with all the things that you are working on as students, this is something we can go beyond. What are the other places that we can think about to include conversational AI? So first off, I wanted to kind of, as I mentioned, talk about the technological impact. This is, kind of the foundation of all the other pieces that I'll go through, but what is the actual technological impact for conversational AI? So there's 4 categories roughly of how conversational AI can really help in technology. So one, it's voice assistants. We have multiple voice assistants out there to provide the ability to do tasks or set reminders, to communicate with people. So that's a great category when it comes to conversational AI, something that a lot of us are familiar with. The next piece is search. So when you're searching for, an item or searching something on, for a location, there's conversational AI pieces that are important in that aspect, so that you can get a response from perhaps a bot or a live person to get more information on what that thing is that you're searching for. And then there's IoT, Internet of Things, your cars or refrigerators, whatever physical devices that allow us to have additional interface capabilities are new, are an additional channel for us to explore. Sorry, my battery's getting low on my headphones. And then the fourth piece is customer care, which I'll go into a little bit later. But how do we do our customer experience with conversational AI? So those are the four categories that there are technological advancements that we look at with conversational AI. And then when we think about additional use cases, again, car assistance, using some of chat bots, ordering digital assistants, fast food. You can order your meal through those kinds of applications, and then transcribing multimedia. So we've got a global audience, being able to understand media through multiple means, not just verbal, but also in text. That's a key piece as well. So then we have societal impact. People, they're changing how they work, they play, they live. So we want to give customers the right information at the right time. So a lot of people are curious about certain things. They want to know it now, and they need that information. So that's a big key tenet of some of the evolution of our societal impacts. The second thing is customers. People they want to be able to have their items, their products delivered in any medium. So how, as a company or organization, do you plan on delivering that, and how do you communicate to them? And then finally, when people are out, wanting to respond to an event or some circumstance, maybe they're out, driving a car, or they're out doing errands, they want to be able to, have the ability to have some flexibility and make our AI dynamic so that it's helping them address the needs they have at that specific time. So that's really how our society's expectations are changing and evolving. So when we think about this shift to digital life, we've got some stats here that kind of show the importance of this. 60% of people want easier access to self-service solutions. 64% expect to receive a real-time assistance. And then 75% of them prefer personal interaction, but this is an interesting key point, right? But not necessarily with humans. And that's where conversational AI can come in. So more information, more stats on this is that, again, more consumers, they want AI. They want the ability to interact with voice assistants. So 40% internet users, they already use voice assistants. Right now, 20% of mobile searches in our particular app are via voice. So clearly, there's a big demand for this this capability already. And then finally, I want to talk about the business impact. When we look at opportunities for commercial applications, there's a big business when it comes to conversational AI. So as you see here, conversational AI is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of over 30% between 2019 and 2024. Huge opportunity, huge business opportunity. And then when we look at market trends, they're in the contact center space. Specifically, we've got a huge opportunity with a market size of about 20 billion almost by 2024 that is important to address. And so as we look into that, I want to get into the details of what are some of the investments that Google is looking into to address this market. So we have something called contact center AI, which is a key pillar of our conversational AI offerings, which gives the ability to have large enterprise contact centers have AI infused into their customer experience. So it comes in the form of virtual agents, live agent assist, and insights, which is our analytics tool. And this helps businesses solve a lot of different issues that they come across. So one is costs, always an issue with contact centers. Two is you're going to have a lot of variation with agents, and so that can lead to some people having really long average handle time, or AHT. And so that's a key point that this addresses. And then also the agents themselves, there's not a lot of self-service tools to help them in escalations. So this AI can help with that. And then again, on the agents, there's lots of turnover with agents. So it's important to be able to help them have a better experience and be able to be trained faster. And then below here, you see some other pieces about the cost of training and seasonality. Those are all things that contact center AI can help address. And so as we think about this opportunity, I have a video that I want to share that shows you exactly what contact center AI does. To give you, a sense of this is what our capabilities can do for an end user, and I'll show that now.
Hi, Prisha. Thanks for calling our bank. How can I help?
Hi, I'd like to pay my bill.
Great. Can you please verify your address?
15 State Street. Oh, and how much is it?
Virtual Agent provides immediate conversational support with customers directing the flow.
You owe $150. Do you want to pay with the account ending in 1337?
Yes, please.
Done. I've sent an email confirmation. Is there anything else?
Virtual Agent can take care of basic fulfillment on the spot.
Yes, actually, there's a $35 charge I don't recognize.
From last week? It looks like it's an overdraft fee.
Oh, that's not fair. I didn't know.
Okay, let me transfer you to a specialist to help.
More complex cases are seamlessly handed off to a human agent.
Hi, Prisha. I'm Elliot. I see you're concerned about the overdraft fee.
Yeah, I didn't know I would get charged.
Okay, I can waive the fee this time, but would you like overdraft protection so it doesn't happen again?
Agent Assist listens in, giving real-time, step-by-step guidance.
Yes, please.
Okay, I've set it up. Is there anything else?
No, this was great. Thanks a lot.
Lastly, Insights gives you real-time visibility into key call drivers and sentiment.
So, so hopefully that gives you a sense of what our contact center AI can provide for end users and the capabilities that conversational AI can do in a commercial sense, and what all you students can help us build out and make even better, and just in general make a more natural and more human-like capability when talking to machines, or even talking to people, helping assist real people with using AI in situations to answer questions. So that's my presentation. Happy to be here today, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Wonderful, thank you so much. So folks, please feel free to drop your questions into the Q&A chat. That would be wonderful. And I'll go ahead and read them out loud for us as we go along. But in the meantime, I would love to ask you some questions that we like asking our industry affiliates when they visit us for this series, if you don't mind. So Josh, what does like a typical day look like for you working on these projects?
Yes, so typical day is trying to understand who the audience is and how we can address some of those pain points. So one of the slides that I brought up there was what are the contact center issues that we normally see, and the buyers are normally contact center executives or IT decision makers, what a CIO or CTO. And so we look at the things that they're interested in, and one, there's three major things. One is employee satisfaction, employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and reducing costs. So I look at that. I look at who is interested in this. What are their capabilities? How can we infuse our AI into their customer experience? And then I try to look at channels and ways that I can reach out to them. So is it through sales channels? Is it through digital marketing? Is it through conferences and events? And then I also try to put together existing customers that have used it in the past to basically have a testimonial. So, it's always easier when you go and look at something, you want to buy something and you see a bunch of other people who've used it or your friends recommended. So at an enterprise scale, a friend of a large company is another, large company. So trying to understand them and use their reference to say, guess what? You've really liked our conversational AI. Let's shout it out to the world and make sure that, people can see the benefits there as well. So that's a lot of what my day is. And also not only understanding the audience and trying to reach that audience, but then working with a lot of internal stakeholders within our product team and with our engineering team to, make sure that our capabilities can match what those customers need.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We've received a few questions. Thank you. What were the biggest breakthroughs in AI in the last year, in your opinion?
The biggest breakthroughs in AI in the last year, again, conversational AI is really taking up a lot of speed. And so the more that we're able to understand our interactions with customers, especially in the customer experience space, that really enables the machine learning behind all that makes it possible for these conversations to be better and better. And so when you have more experiences, more interactions, the better the AI gets. And so in this last year, there's, with COVID, the last 2 years, right? We've had more interactions, digitally than we had in the past because, are being, in lockdown and not with each other as much. And so that's given the AI the ability to learn a lot more about those interactions because people are making more phone calls, people are having more digital conversations. And so the pandemic was a forcing function to help develop that even further. Good question.
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for the question. Another question. Thank you so much for this. Conversational AI rationality processing. How does that work?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I am not familiar with that, so I'd have to follow up on that. It's not an area that I deal with, so can definitely get back in touch with you on that topic. But I don't want to speak about something that I'm not close to.
No problem. All right, thank you. Yeah, we would love to know if you find more details. Happy to share with the community. Another question. Can you tell us about a little more about your specific career and what brought you to your current role here and working with this application-centered AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So my undergrad was in marketing information systems, and I ended up doing sales for retail banking for about 4 years, went to business school, as I mentioned, and then stayed in retail banking doing marketing for about 6 years. And then I wanted to make that pivot to tech and I wanted to be specifically a product marketing manager, just using the skill that I had in an industry that I was very interested in. My father actually never went to college, and he built several businesses and did it using his technical capabilities. He's a very good coder, but he never went to school for it. He never really got any formal education, but he was just kind of self-taught. And so he built applications for a lot of accountants in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I grew up. And the way that he did it was very distinguishing. And so he just built a lot of credibility through that. And so that was kind of the genesis of my like interest in tech. And then he eventually used that to build, tech and financial services. And that's kind of where my financial services interest came. And so taking all of that together, having been in the financial services industry for a while and then wanting to move into tech, that opportunity came because I was able to merge that experience in financial services to doing industry marketing for a software company. And then that led to Google for that specific industry doing industry marketing. Now, the pivot came about a year and a half ago where I had the opportunity to come to the Cloud AI product marketing team. And so I was able to use the marketing skills and bring it to this particular team, which has been amazing. It's been awesome. And, of course, AI is very cutting edge. And so it's been a ramp for sure, because, complete honesty, AI is such a, evolving field, and being new to it, there was a lot to kind of absorb. But luckily I had a lot of great teammates who were willing to sit with me and kind of get me, the information I need to understand, what are the key messages that we want to share with our customers. And so it's been a great journey. And, AI sometimes is still seen as a science project for some people or some organizations. But the great part about this role that is I get to show them that, guess what, it's not. There's real applications. There's real things you can do for as an organization, how you interface with your users and your consumers. So it's been an exciting journey, and having the capability to say, guess what, we've got this great technology. It can really impact you, and here's why, and here's how. That's what I love about this role. So thanks for the question.
Yeah, great question. And to our follow-up question, another question that came in that goes in line with what you were talking about. What do you about learning and exploring what AI is, and what do you do to ensure that you stay on top of trends? What do you read? What do you watch? Who do you talk to?
Yeah, good question. So I definitely try to make sure that when I first started this journey, I kind of have my own personal learning plan, and try to understand just different concepts within AI and how they all related to one another. And then I would reach out to colleagues that were more technically proficient than me, a lot of developers and a lot of product managers, and getting their insights and asking questions. And the biggest thing, speaking of kind of backing up to career and staying up to date, is I would say curiosity is going to be your most important skill, your most important attribute. Because if you're humble and you understand there's a knowledge gap and you're willing to ask people questions, you're not going to see a lot of limits, right? And especially in a field like AI where it's continually evolving, you always have to ask questions. People that I know that have been in this field for a very long time, they still are asking questions because it's important for the evolution of this field. So that's a really key piece. So speaking with experts, having curiosity, writing down things that you learn about as you kind of read from analyst reports about what AI is capable of out there, looking at blogs of experts, trying to understand what the competition does. So obviously, being in a business, there's a lot of competition. So trying to understand how they're evolving AI and what are the things that maybe they might do better or worse. And then also looking again at those societal impacts that we talked about a little bit earlier. What is happening in general with society, and what are the expectations that are changing? And there's different, news articles you can read about that. There's different reports and white papers to help you understand what are those changes in general that are happening in society that you can tie back to how AI can solve that problem. So hopefully that helped.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for the question. Here our students are doing their master's in data science, and some of them might be focusing on AI applications. You work very closely and with these folks who are creating these programs and applications. What do you believe is a key skill you would recommend all our students make sure they leave the program with? If someone wanted to join your team of working on your team to develop these applications, what would you advise them?
Yeah, I think it's all about focusing on the user, right? What is the end result of the programs you're building, whatever it is that you're putting together? How's this going to benefit somebody in the end? If you're building something that's for consumers, like, is that going to really address their needs? If you're building something for a business or organization, is that going to address the human need behind all that? Like, do they want to save money? Do they want to have a more natural conversation? Do they want to make it more interesting or more enjoyable to interface with? And so I think that's the key, is not to get, you all have already do or will have the technical capabilities to make these things happen, but it's about why do you want to make these capabilities come to life? And so having that ultimate end use case of whatever it is you're building in mind always is the key. And so that's when in my interactions with product and with engineering, it's having that that vision to help bring the products to life.
Wonderful insight. Thank you. We appreciate it so much. And we're all out of questions. We didn't have any more come in, so we're happy to wrap up for the day. And thank you so much, Josh, for joining us. We really appreciate your time and insights into AI. And we welcome, thanks, Josh, coming in from our students. Thank you so much, students. And we welcome you back, and we hope that you'll be able to return and participate, engage with our students in the future.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. And again, feel free to field any additional questions to me, and I'll respond where I can.
Great. Thank you. All right, everybody. Have a great day.